What's up guys, macadii here, bringing you the team building video to our brand new UU session. Now the star of the show, as you can see here, is Killer Bunny, and this was recommended to me by a subscriber of mine called Salty Panda, so shout out to him. He asked me to build a team around it, so I've given it a go, and from practice it seems to be pretty good, so hopefully it will work well under recording as well. So I run this with the Life Orb and Sheer Force, because obviously Sheer Force negates the Life Orb damage. And I run this with Sludge Bomb and Earth Power as sort of general stab coverage, and then Ice Beam and Thunderbolt as a sort of Bolt Beam coverage. So with Bolt Beam coverage, I don't know if you guys have heard of it, is you have electricity and ice, and those two make a sort of almost perfect offensive pair because barely anything resists both of those moves, so it works out really well. So I run that with 252 in special attack, 252 in speed, and then with a Timid Nature, just to make sure I do outspeed things. Now obviously Nidoking doesn't have the greatest speed in the world, so I decided I'd try and sort of improve it by using Galvantula. So my SpecsBruh Galvantula, I run this with Sash and Compound Eyes, which gives it increased accuracy, so that means I can run Thunder, which now has about a 91% accuracy, I think it works out at, which works out pretty well. And I run that with Thunder, Bug Buzz, Giga Drain, and then the web as well. So I don't invest in any HP or defenses, as you can see here. That's because its main use is just to try and get the web up if possible, and then try and do some hits. It also works well as a revenge killer as well. If I've got something that's against my team that's sweeping me, say, I don't know, Mega Alakazam, it means I can take a hit with the Sash and hit straight back with a Bug Buzz afterwards. The whole team itself is designed around the sticky web, but it's also sort of designed in such a way that it doesn't have to rely on it. It still works really, really well without the sticky web. It just, obviously sticky web does help it a lot. So I run this with 252 in special attack, 252 timid in speed as well, just to make sure I'm outspeeding as many things as possible, and I'm increasing my chance of getting the sticky web up as well. I then also have Haxorus, who is he's my main setup sweeper, so I have that with Life Orb and Mold Breaker, with Dragon Claw, Poison Jab and Earthquake as his moves, and then also Dragon Dance as well to set up. I wasn't particularly sure whether to go for Dragon Dance or Swords Dance, but I decided to go for Dragon Dance just because I'm almost guaranteed to outspeed everything once the web's up, and even when the web isn't up, I'm going to be outspeeding pretty much everything from there. So I thought it was a good middle ground. I could have gone for Swords Dance, but to be honest, he does have quite a lot of attack already, and I think he would appreciate a bit of a speed boost as well. So I run that 252 Adamant in attack and 252 in speed. I did think about going for a Jolly Nature with this, but I decided instead that going for Adamant would be better because I obviously have the setup with Dragon Dance and also the web as well. I then move on to probably my most evil set of this team, which is the Cresselia with Leftovers. If I remember rightly, I think I got this from one of BT's battles. He was using it, and he ran that with Psyshock, Moonblast, Sub, and Calm Mind. Now, under the web, this becomes absolutely evil, because although it doesn't have setup, it's not setup, it doesn't have recovery, once you get a sub up, there's very few things that, if they don't have a very, very strong stab move or a super effective move, can actually break that sub. And also with the combination of sticky web as well, it means that with Cress's 85 speed, which is not too bad uninvested, to about 200 speed, anything under 300 speed, you're going to be able to get a sub up on. And it also, because you have quite high natural speed, you're going to be outspeeding most walls as well. So it means they can't go for Toxics or touch you really. So the main way to go about using this Cress is to go in on a wall, sub up, and then you can get a Calm Mind up. So as you can see, it's pretty bulky on the physical side, with 240 in defense and with a Bold Nature as well. And as you can also see, it's pretty bulky, especially even uninvested. So what works quite well with this is once you get the Calm Mind up, you've got about 370 defense and then 450 special defense with about 450 HP as well. So your subs are absolutely just incredibly bulky as well. You also have higher than 400 HP, which means that Nightshade and things like that take 2 hits to break your subs as well, which also works really well against walls. So once you got to sort of, you set up the sub, and then you just got to keep setting up as many calm minds as possible, and then start sweeping from there. Unfortunately, its special attack isn't that great, so it does require a few turns of setup to actually get there. But once you start setting up a few calm minds, they're definitely in trouble. So alongside this as well, I also have a Entei, which I haven't nicknamed. I will nickname him after this. And I run that with Life Orb and Pressure. So in terms of its moveset, I decided to go for Sacred Fire, obviously because it's just so good with a 50% burn chance. I wanted some priority on this team, so I figured Extreme Speed would be a good call to go for. And then Iron Head and Bulldoze sort of round off just to be a bit of non-stab coverage. Iron Head's pretty good for Florges, and Bulldoze is also just generally quite good. It doesn't have the greatest sort of diverse move pool, so I think if I remember rightly, Bulldoze is probably the best move you're going to be getting on it. That's the only that's the real shame about this Pokemon, is it does have pretty good stats, but its overall coverage moves aren't that great. So I run that with 252 Adamant in attack, just a little bit in defense, and 252 in speed. I decided not to go for Jolly on this one as well, mainly because I have access to the extreme speed and I wanted the most powerful priority I can. I also, with the web up as well, it doesn't make too much difference that I'm not reaching that 100 speed, so hopefully it will be working out fine. Alongside that, we also have my Mega Blastoise, which I've also forgotten to nickname. I've also forgotten to nickname a few of these. Don't worry, they will be nicknamed. I think I've already done the first battle, but they will be, later on they will get nicknames. So I run that with Scald, Aura Sphere, Ice Beam, and then the Rapid Spin, just to get rid of rocks and things like that, especially with the Sash, can be a little bit problematic, and also with Entei with its lack of recovery as well. So I run that with 252 in special attack, 252 in HP, and then a modest nature. So as you can see, it's a very offensive team. So I tried to build this team around it like this, so I can set up the web and then put on so much offensive pressure, they just don't get the chance to either rapid spin or get a defog off without taking massive damage and sort of losing all momentum completely. So it's all about setting up the web, keeping up that offensive momentum for as long as possible. So hopefully it will work out. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video and you like the team, and I will see you at the first battle on Monday. macadii out! If you enjoyed the video and want to keep up my latest content, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below. macadii out!